Hey Alex, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Sorry, I always bop my head way too late. I'm just feeling the
Hey,
vibe, the
feeling the
music.
energy? I got you, man. I understand that. What better way to feel that energy than having Game Day as our movie review that got
Game
sent into
day.
us? Game Day. But yeah, and here's the thing. I just want to appreciate the person that sent this out to me. I just want to thank you for allowing us to be able to review your film and reached out to me. I'm glad that you're our favorite fan and everything that you reached out to me to review this film. And matter of fact, Game Day is about this Italian family out in Philadelphia. They're diehard Philadelphia Eagles fans, and they're getting ready to gather around the TV to watch the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Dallas Cowboys. But even though that's a rivalry team, they also have rivalries in their own family. And as the day progresses, more anger progresses throughout that whole entire day. So that was another thing. And Charlie, yes, I know this is the wrong jerseys, but you know what? You had every opportunity to go in and present yourself with the Philadelphia Eagles. That way, you could look fly on our channel. But it's okay. It's cool. We're
It's
just gonna
fine.
hold down the fort and everything.
Raiders are better.
I got my Brady jersey on. I'm ready to go talk about some game day. So, anyways, but yeah, like I said, tensions arises within this family. It's a very Italian family, and as soon as you wake up, you're actually introduced. As soon as you wake up, well, as soon as Zach wakes up, we're actually introduced into Zach's life, and he goes down to the kitchen. He sees his mom, and next thing you know, it they wind up yelling. Um, they wind up yelling at. He winds up yelling at his mom. So that was also another thing that winds up having in like the first 5 minutes of the film, and then you have that whole entire deal before the game even starts too. So you have that little bit of a setup with the plot line. But I'm gonna let Alex talk a little bit about the whole entire setup on that.
Yeah, so as soon as this movie starts, you're immediately thrown right into the fire. The Zach and his mom just start going at it, and then the dad comes in. I think his dad's name's Ben, and they're just having a firefight. And I loved it when it cut to Jamie in the bedroom, just kind of sitting there listening to the argument, just kind of mentally preparing herself for the long day she's about to have. I was like, girl, I totally feel it. Sometimes you just gotta sit there and be like, oh, here we go.
Right, exactly. That's all she's doing is just taking in that morning. It's like, here we go again. Another day with this family, with them fighting, with their dysfunctional selves and everything around the TV sets and everything, yelling at the TV and also yelling at each other. But one thing I have to say that I really appreciate with this film, though, is the fact that it's how relatable the characters actually are. You have the grandmother who's actually trying to keep this family together because the foundation is actually broken within this family. And then you also have her. She has cancer. She actually decided it's her time to go. She doesn't want to take anything for her cancer or anything like that. And also upsets her son, which I can understand why he would be mad at the fact that he could lose his mom, someone who gave birth to him. So that's also something that I really took into consideration, considering the fact that my mom had cancer at one time. She survived. But, I can understand from his standpoint, but he cusses out his mom in the kitchen, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, I couldn't do that to my mom, even though his mom's living with them. It just hit me. I'm like, okay, this is just how broken this family actually is, and I just feel
Mhm.
for them because it's not so much of rooting for the characters. You're actually rooting for the situation to actually get better between them, and
Yeah.
that's what I liked about it is trying to find some type of repairedness within this foundation that's broken. And
Yeah.
you wind up finding out through the whole entire family they're broken. All the whole family is broken. They are going through their own issues, their own situations, and stuff like that on this game day, and you just feel for them.
Yeah, definitely. I agree that I think that Teresa, the mom, is definitely the heart of the film. I love that she was trying to, like you said, just keep everyone together, keep the peace, and put try. Also, I appreciate that she was putting everyone in their place. Like, hey, you're actually kind of being a jackass today. Here, da da da. Calling people out on their nonsense, and I was just like, take the medication, Teresa. I want you to stay alive through this. I need you to we need you to fix it because these people need help. But I was mostly rooting for her the whole time, and I was also rooting for Vinny because that was like a hidden part of the movie that it was also his birthday. Like a lot of the focus was on the actual football game, but I think I'm pretty sure that was intentional. That they're like, oh, also Vinny's birthday. I liked
Right.
Vinny.
Benny is, to me, is the heart of the family as well, if you think about it, because he doesn't like the family drama that's surrounding him or anything
Hmm.
like that. He knows what he's walking into inside that house. As a matter of fact, with pregame, which is basically the sportscasters talking about the game before it actually happens. This is now. I like how this is actually set up into like a football kind of scenario. You have your pregame, then you have your first quarter, then you have your halftime, and then you have your third and fourth quarter, and it raises the stakes each time whenever you look at it. So I thought that was pretty interesting on how they actually played around with that. And basically, it's the family prepping for this hell fest that's going to be taking place at their home because they don't want to even be there in the first place. You have you have Vinny that shows up, and he's like, and you can definitely tell he just doesn't want to deal with them. He just doesn't want to be there.
Anxiety.
The anxiety is really built up inside of him. And also, too, even whenever the little kid comes up to him and hugs him, Uncle Vinny and everything, he hugs him and everything. He feels like, that he's actually accepted a little bit. Then also, too, the grandfather is also mean to Vinny at this point because he actually ignores Vinny. And he goes, yeah, I just got a substitute teacher job. And all he cares about on his cell phone is him betting against the Eagles the whole entire time.
Hmm.
And even Zach asked him, he goes, Dad, did you bet anything on this game? No, I didn't bet anything. And you can tell that he's lying. So he's a degenerate gambler. That's what I'm looking at it. He's a
Yeah.
degenerate, which also might explain why they're not living in their own house either.
Right.
So that's what I got from that character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the actors did a really great job of showing the emotion on their bodies. Like we were talking about Vinny coming into the house, like you just see like his shoulders were tense. He was just the deep breaths. I was like, dude, I'm an anxious wreck too. Sometimes I totally related to that. Like the actors did a fantastic job of portraying those emotions, especially anger. They definitely got anger down to a T in this.
Anger was they definitely got the anger down to a
Anger
T.
anger was definitely masterclass. If you need tips on how to be angry, watch this movie. They'll show you the way.
It'll definitely strengthen your acting abilities. Let's just put it this way. If you're an upcoming actor and you want to learn how to be angry, watch this movie because this is going to have plenty of that in there for you to actually dissect.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have, of course, the guitar player. You have Marco. And I like how I want to go back for just a minute here because of the fact that the grandmother is over there messing with the pictures. And it shows the little grandson, the one that's living with them inside their home. Then it shows a picture of Marco with the guitar. And it's giving us character placement and important characterization of characters without even showing them to us yet. We understand, okay, Marco's a musician. He likes playing the guitar. I like those little nods of an introduction before we actually get introduced into who Marco actually is, because it's telling the story in the lenses of the grandmother versus the lenses that we're going to see later on.
Mm-hmm.
Because to her, he's a nice little sweet grandson that she always knew. Us, he's a little douchebag that needs to be slapped around a little bit. Just saying. But but whenever we're introduced to Marco and everything, he's over there and his anxiety's up. And he's also dealing with alcoholism, drugs, and also too, he's trying to be discovered through his music and stuff like that too. And I wish I would actually showed how talented Marco was instead of them. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see how talented Marco was instead of them just saying, "Oh, he's a musician, he's a guitar player." That's something that I really would love to see.
Oh
What
yeah,
about you, though?
I've been wanting a lot of that too. I was like, maybe just have him pull out the guitar during halftime, and just like there was one moment where he was up in his room in the attic, I believe, and he grabbed his guitar briefly, I was just like, oh, is he about to play us a little melody? But he doesn't end up doing it. And like, I would like to have seen something like that, just in his private moments away from the anger, like something that gives
To
him
settle him
joy.
down.
Yeah,
Right.
that way we can see a different side of him rather than the bitter and tired, like strung out musician.
Right. And another thing too is I want to say this: Marco and his father are both similar in a sense. Because even though he said, "Oh, my dad's just a washed-up commercial advertiser and everything endorser," well, you're also a musician who's trying to become discovered. Your father kind of has the same dream as you do. It's just a little bit different than what
Hmm.
yours is, and he has an agent.
Yeah.
You don't even have an agent yet, so at least he's trying to do something. And also, too, I don't blame Zach one bit for getting angry at Marco because without him, they wouldn't have food on the table if it wasn't for him or
Hmm.
anything. So that was something I definitely agree with when it came down to the argument between Zach and Marco was the fact that he's a father. He's providing for his family. This is the best thing, and the only thing he knows how to do is to do the commercial endorsements. And then his father's like, well, maybe you should do what you've been doing before. Maybe you should just go on ahead and do what you did before. And, sorry, someone come busting in my room and they know that I record every single night at this time.
It's like the ghost. The ghosts are back.
Sorry about that. I do apologize.
There you go.
But anyways, but like I said, basically what's going on is this. Marco's just busting his father's balls the whole time. They both have the same goals, the same longevity, same everything. And you're also discrediting your father. And also to the father, even Zach's own father is like, well, maybe you should just go ahead and wait tables like you used to do. And that's not in his gene pool. That's not something he wants to do.
Right. Yeah, I thought their relationship, like it definitely was a two-way street. Like, yeah, Marco was busting his dad's balls a lot, but at the same time, his dad was never really supportive of his dreams to be a musician. It was like, oh, so him as the dad, he gets to follow his dreams of trying to be an actor, to be in commercials, but his son can't do the same. So I think, like, I liked how it dove into that. Like, yeah, your children are gonna feel resentment towards you if you are just constantly just kicking down their dreams. Like, and we see that towards the end of the movie, the relationship gets better because his dad's more accepting. But like, I liked that aspect. I like that they were exploring that. I was like, yeah, that's realistic. A kid is not gonna accept anything from a parent that doesn't support them.
No,
Like, not even
definitely
just
not.
financially. Like even though we all agree that that's a huge part. Like, yes, I'm grateful, for my parents putting me keeping a roof over my head, having given me food, having clothes and all that. But also, it does suck to be like, oh, yeah, your dreams suck. You can't do that. you know. So I
Right. The only ones
totally
that
get your
were
take.
supportive is, of course, the grandfather. For some odd reason, the grandfather was, but it also feels like too. Well, I wasn't so supportive to my son's dream, so to way to make it up to him, I'm going to go in and support my grandson instead.
Hmm.
And then even Teresa winds up calling her husband out on it. So you're trying to live your dreams through him and make up for the time that you lost with Zach.
Hmm.
Way to go! And then of course you wind up having Teresa who winds up saying, you know what, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it big one day. And just believing in him
Hmm.
and everything. And that's all he wants. He just wants someone to believe in him. And it's just hard for someone to believe in him whenever he has so much negativity around him.
Right. Definitely.
That was
Yeah.
something.
It's just believing in someone, believing in your child goes a long way. I'm not necessarily saying you need to like spoil them, like, and let things slide, but definitely be like, you can do it. Like, you also need to get a job and support yourself, but you can do it.
Exactly, because there's a lot of wasted talent out there that has the talent, but you need a backup to support your dream. You can't
Hmm.
let that one thing make you think that you're going to get discovered. There's plenty of musicians out on the streets all the time hustling for that spot. You
Mm-hmm.
need to go on ahead grind on the side and also to make some money as your up to for your upkeep. Because if you're going to support that girlfriend of yours, you got to make that paper.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but that's also another thing too. I don't like the way he talked to his girlfriend and everything either during that time.
Yeah, that one, oh, that like stopped my heart when he called her a useless B word. I was like, oh no, what? Bro, she's been supporting you the whole time. Boy, what?
Right? And I'm like, dude, you just messed up.
I was like,
She was your ride back out of that nightmare home.
she was your ride home.
Right.
You know,
And you just screwed that up because he's like, come on, baby. Come on, I promise you, I won't do it again. I'm like, dude, you're going to do it again because I've heard this story over and over again from other people like you. And she was actually smart enough to go, nope, peace.
uh,
I don't need you. She snaps her fingers, flaps her hair, and walks away. And
exactly.
you know,
Well, what's that actor's name? Who plays Mark? Nicholas Runfellow. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, but yeah, he did a great job in those movies, just portraying that just broken human being. Like, there's a whole part of him that's that wants to do better, but he just doesn't know how. He never had that support system, so he's just kind of winging it. But he's winging it that's fueled by anger and resentment. So it's not. So it's like holding him back in a lot of ways. And
right.
Nicholas Runfellow. Once again, sorry if I mispronounced that. Did a phenomenal job portraying that.
He definitely did. And another thing I want to talk about is Michelle and Zach. That's another thing. And Charlie said the whole cheating aspect didn't sit well with him. But there's something I want to talk about, and it doesn't give anybody excuse to cheat or anything like that. Okay, so I feel like he's very conflicted of his feelings towards Jamie and also through Michelle
Hmm.
and everything too. We see the conflict between them. Like he wants this, but he can't have that. He wants his cake and eat it too, in a sense. But he's very conflicted about his feelings because he's so wrapped up in the past that he can't focus on the woman that he wants to be with,
Hmm.
or he thinks that he wants to be with.
Hmm.
So glued in to Michelle. And I knew from the get-go with Michelle, though, that she wasn't going to go get that wine for Jamie just out of spite. She was going to get whatever she wanted to get.
I saw that coming. I was like, she ain't gonna get the wine.
No. And Jamie wanted white wine. She probably picked up red wine. And then, of course, she winds up picking up that brandy. We talked about that scotch that Zach winds up drinking. But here's the thing that I feel like is a little bit of a shade to Jamie, though. And it's a metaphor. So he goes outside, drinks his scotch. She goes outside with him. Michelle follows behind him. And she said, oh, this is not the brand that you're used to. This is a new brand. Meaning, she's the old brand. This is the brand that she's used to. Jamie's the new brand. And that's how so that's metaphorically speaking of the fact with the conflict between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the father is contemplating if he should cheat or not as well. And even the grandfather, even his own father was like, look, do not do what you're going to do. You're going to mess that whole entire thing, everything up if you do that. So he's actually trying to guide him without yelling at him. And he goes, you have that look in your eye. What look? I don't have a look. You have a look. And I liked how his father was trying to guide him, but he's very conflicted. He doesn't know what he wants. It's like he's settling for Jamie versus being with Michelle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That was that was frustrating for me to watch because like everyone calls it out. It's like, hey, yeah, I don't like how you look at Michelle when she's here. Like like what? And then 2 minutes later, just all googly eyed. I'm like, ooh, they're like having drinks together and cheering in front of the family. I'm like, that's just disrespectful. Like, I'm all for, like being connected with the mother of your, or with, the mother or father of your child. just for the sake of showing your children a good relationship, but like that was lightweight creepy.
It
Like,
was because you can tell that what she was after. She wanted Zach, and it
mm-hmm,
didn't. She didn't care if she had a smack talk, anything. Because don't forget, when Jamie's down in the basement doing something, she's probably down in the basement because she needs to lose weight or something. I forgot the. I'm not going for verbatim, but I remember it was like a busting her as well.
shoot, someone talks about my wife like that in my house.
Mm-hmm.
But whoa, hey now,
We're gonna throw down. I'm not gonna
hey,
lie.
get
I'm
the
not.
boxing gloves on.
But then I feel bad for Vinny again because his own mother gives him diet pills for his birthday.
Yeah, that part messed me up. It was hard following the family dynamics a little bit. I was like, okay, Michelle is the mother of Marco, but then when Vinny called her mom, I was like, oh wait. When they said it was the son's birthday, I kept thinking it was the little
Oh
boy.
boy.
Yeah, I kept thinking, oh, it was the little boy. It's not Marco. I was like, oh no, it's Vinny. Like Vinny is Michelle's son too. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was hard to piece together for a bit. And then
Right.
what else was it? Oh, I think that was it. I think that's all I was confused about. But
Well, to be honest with you, when it opens up, you're automatically thinking that it's actually the little boy's birthday because he comes up to him, Uncle Vinny. But it's actually, once they put the gift in his hand, it said, oh, happy birthday. And so when Michelle gives him the gift, that's his mom. So I actually knew that right off the bat. But to give your son diet pills on your birthday, and then also to, here's the thing, we're Italian family. I come from a huge Italian family. Whenever I saw the raviolis, I saw the manicotti, I saw all that stuff that my grandmother used to make. I'm like, oh my god, I want to be with this family just for a few minutes before they fight. I just want some food.
just for that 2 minute section where it was showing the food, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And, Vinny's like, he's helping himself, man. I'll be right there with Vinny, man. I'll be right there. But then you have Jamie, who's afraid for her weight because of the fact Michelle winds up body shaming her. You also have Vinny, who's also being body shamed for his weight. This is just, I just feel like that was just sad to see them body shaming each other like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a toxic environment. Just this whole household was toxic. Oh, Charlie, geeking out, huh, John? Yep.
Yep.
Uh,
And like
uh, we're talking about good food. So yeah, this
yeah,
is
man.
like
Italian.
I'm
Talk
not
about
Italian,
Italiano.
but I do appreciate Italian food. It is delicious. It makes me gain 40 pounds in one sitting, but that's okay.
Where are the cheesesteaks? Well, that's a good question because you're supposed to have Philly cheesesteaks in Philly, and there's no cheesesteaks at all in this.
There wasn't. Where was the Philly? That's right. I was
But
watching this movie and I was like, something's missing. But what is it? Philly cheesesteaks. Oh my
that's
god.
but you know what though? It's Italian food and stuff like that, so forget about it. So I definitely like the fact that the grandmother is trying to cook the food and everything and stuff like that. And the dad was wearing he was wearing a Pats shirt, which makes me even like the father a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
A bit. But that's something that I have to say is very relatable is the Italian dinner scene and stuff like that. And then of course I felt bad for Jamie only having to get a little bit of food because of Michelle. And then of course Michelle tries to leave. And then when we see her about to leave, she makes another crack at Jamie. And Jamie winds up hitting her. And she's already got a bruise already because her abusive boyfriend of a douchebag, ball bag guy that she's with already have put hands on her.
I liked how she hit her on the same side of the bruise. It was like, I know this is going to hurt extra. I'm like, dang. I was like, man, she didn't even like, here, take it from this side so you have something to match it. Like, same side. Oh, cold-blooded. I was like, God, about time someone threw hands. I was waiting for that moment. I was like, at the level of anger that these characters are showing, I'm surprised that no one threw us a punch or a slap yet. And then when that happened, I was like, there we go. All right.
There we go. We
Now
got at least
everyone,
one punch in, so we're good.
now
Domestic
everyone.
abuse. But then, of course, we wind up having another scene where the father winds up getting it, walks out of the house and starts lifting weights, which is a very Italian thing to do because they actually do go outside and lift weights to blow up some steam. So
He was pumping it too. I was like, ooh, there you go, dude. Look at that technique.
but what else? Well, there's also another thing too that I wanted to bring up was then we wind up seeing the mother, Michelle, go over to the bar and she's hitting on the bartender while she's also talking her ex-husband, Zach, into sleeping with her and being with her and trying to sucker him in and goes, well, you remember this day when we met and you had that look in your eye and you haven't had that look in your eye since I left. And I'm like, okay, this is where she knows she's playing with Zach's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell the struggle because Zach's over there standing up with his hands over his head, being frustrated with it. And the whole reason why she even why Jamie even hit him hit her in the first place was because Zach and her were actually pretty much close together, almost holding hands, and it pissed her off.
Like
I don't blame
sharing
her. I would, yeah. And then, of course, Marco wants to go ahead and blame Jamie for that whole entire incident whenever it wasn't even Jamie's fault.
Yeah, and I liked how Vinny was trying to be the voice of reason, and I wish they would have went more into it when Marco was going off like, oh, you took my mom away from me and all that, and Vinny was like, actually, mom's kind of shitty, dude.
Right.
Like Jamie was the one who raised us. Like what? Like, and I thought they were gonna go more into it, but it just got like cut off by more cussing each other out. I wish they got more into that because I was like, yeah, like
I would like to see, to be honest with you, that's one of the things that I feel like is missing. Is a little bit of backstory to some of them without the fighting, and then go back into the fighting aspect of it.
mm-hmm.
You know, show a little bit of a bio of who they were before, like maybe a small flashback, a little bit of where they come from.
Yeah,
and then go into it in present day, just a little bit.
mm-hmm.
But still, I thought the structure was there and the drama was there as to why they are fighting and why they have this cracked foundation.
Yeah,
Because you have a father who is settling for a woman that he thinks that he wants to be with, and this is the life that he wants. Really, this is not the life he wants.
mm-hmm.
No, and we're gonna get into the no making up part in a minute, Charlie, because there is something I want to mention, like at the end of the film, on how it ends and the way that it does, because that's how life is sometimes, and I want to get to that in a minute. But what else did you want to talk about as far as?
Yeah, I did appreciate how like we've been talking about, just how the characters were expressing these emotions. Like I felt all the passion, all the rage that the actors were putting out into these characters. So that was really cool to see. I also would have liked a little bit more of a calm before a storm type of moment where, like you said, not necessarily a flashback, but just a brief little history, just like, oh, remember when we did this? And, just quick little snippets, just so I wasn't just thrown into the fire of the family drama. I would have liked a little bit more detail on that, but, I'll get more into my feelings about that later.
Okay, and then there's also another part where they decide to visit Vinny after he storms out of the house because Vinny just can't take it anymore with the fight, which I don't blame the guy. I mean, here's the thing. I come from a huge Italian family. We have several different conversations going on at the same time across the dinner table, and you don't know which conversation to partake in, so we'll just partake in everything that we're absorbing at that dinner table. That's just how we are. But Benny is the guy. He just gets up and leaves, and then they decide to go ahead and give him the cake that his grandmother wound up making, that Teresa made, and bring it over to him. And then, of course, him and Marco also gets into a little bit of a tantrum as well, because remember, he winds up saying, "Well, boy," he said, "you're gonna be hanging yourself from a closet." I'm like, "Ooh," and he just got dark real
It's like
fast.
we took it there.
Yeah. And I feel like, to me, he wasn't trying to be mean to him. He was just trying to show him some tough love. If you keep going down this road that you're going on, even though he didn't say it the way he did, but it's like, if you keep going down this road with the alcohol, with the drugs, with everything, you're gonna
Mm,
die. You're not even gonna have a music career before you even sign the deal.
exactly.
And if you sign the deal, it's going to be 10 times worse, because you have the deal, you have everything you want, and it's going to lead you into more of the alcohol, more of the drugs,
Hmm.
everything. So that's what I got out of the whole entire vibe with Vinny telling him that.
Yeah. It's like, he has all this trauma, but like fame and money is just gonna amplify it. Like it doesn't solve your problems, honestly. So yeah, that was Vinny. Vinny, man. He was a treasure. I wanted more of Vinny. And like the birthday party should have been at his house anyway. They should be like, hey Vinny, we're all coming over and cooking at your place to celebrate you. I was like, yeah, you're gonna have Vinny drive out to your
To be honest
house.
with you, I don't blame Vinny for wanting to go out that way, because of the fact that all those people in there, and he lives in a small apartment, and they're going to be
Oh,
fighting.
that's true. Everyone's fighting in the tiny apartment. Is just like
Right.
hands are definitely
Yeah.
being thrown. He doesn't want to clean that mess up.
No, I wouldn't want to clean that mess up either. But whenever you see the conflictation with Michelle and everything too, and she goes, "Well, he doesn't want me. I'm just gonna fling myself over to the bartender now." And the bartender's over there enjoying himself. He goes, "Hey, what's up? What's happening?" He goes, "I like your body. You like mine?"
That's how I knew she.
Right.
I was like, that's how I knew she was trifling. I was like, yeah, when
Right.
she was talking
Girls, I
to
mean, right.
Zach at the same time she was at the bar and the bartender was hitting on her. I was like, bro, man, yeah, she's toxic. It's all toxic. It was rough.
That was rough to watch, because now she's playing a mind game. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Anthony? It's always good to see you on here in the live chat, dude.
Hey,
Um, but yeah, ACS Universe, go on and check him out on the YouTube channel. He has a great show over there. But dude, I just feel like that's how she's playing with the emotions, to be honest with you, of Zach.
mm-hmm,
And she has him by the balls too. It's like, he's living in the past. This guy's trying to break from the past, but you're reeling him in, and he can't move on because you're there.
mm-hmm,
Now, here's the thing. I think that it could work where they could actually celebrate certain things together if
mm-hmm.
you just give it a little bit of time away from each other, and then going ahead and have the family together. You know.
No,
But
I I like towards the end when Zach and Jamie have this conversation. She tells him that he's afraid to be alone, and like not a lot of movies touch on that because like that's an important thing in relationships. Is like you have to be good at being alone because like if you can't even be just by yourself, like what makes you think a partner is going to want to be with you? I was like,
exactly.
that's like kudos to you, movie. It's like, yeah, be alone. Like you should take time to build yourself into a better person before trying to have someone else deal with you. I,
Exactly.
I like that.
I like that aspect as well, because she can definitely tell that he's just settling
Hmm.
versus him being with Michelle. If that's what he wants, do it. Go be with her. Don't be with me if you're just gonna settle just for any other thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's
But
like don't be with someone just so you're not alone, because then you're
right,
not really with the person you like. Yeah.
exactly. Before we get even deeper into this, I want to mention this. Our sponsor, we actually have a sponsor, and it's sponsored by Peer.com. And it's a lot. And here's the thing: if you have a business, you need a website. What's the best way to get a website up and running? Choose a website hosting company that makes it simple, like Peer Networks. Peer has 20 years of experience managing the entire digital ecosystem for thousands of online businesses all around the world. Peer makes it easy for you with to do it yourself website building tools and features, including simple drag and drop page design. And they have guaranteed US based support technicians ready to help you whenever you need it. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, right now, when you sign up with Peer Networks, you'll receive 1 free month of web hosting. See for yourself how easy it is to build your website for free. Visit peer.com/free to get your first month of website hosting for free by using the code QUICKSTART. That's peer.com/free using the promo code QUICKSTART to get started today. And now back over to our review. But, you know, I like that whole entire thing that it touched on don't settle for anything just because you're alone. And
Mhm.
even my fiance said that to me before. She's like, if you want to be with me, but don't settle if uh, don't just be settling just because you're alone. And I like the fact that the movie touches on that and touches on deep things that movies don't really do. And
Mhm.
even whenever I got the email, underneath the description, it says that this studio actually touches on things that other movie studios don't necessarily touch on. And that's something that I really do appreciate that they did with
Yeah,
this film, to be honest with you. And then it goes into what, 2 years later,
that's
I
it. Time
believe?
jump.
Yep. They time jump it, and you see that Teresa's no longer there. She died of cancer. You actually see the coffin, and I'm glad that they didn't show Teresa in the coffin or anything like that, like every other movie does. They just give us a little bit of just a little bit of a nod that's saying that there's something's going on with
Yeah.
Teresa, and she's not here anymore. And also, too, the father also mentions to the grandson that Teresa's no longer with us, and he goes, "Well, can I go with you?" He goes, "No, where she's gone, you can't be with her." Or
Mhm.
anything. And then he's off traveling, doing his own thing, stuff like that. And I like how they mentioned that as well. I thought that
Mhm.
was good that they mentioned it rather than showed it. So I like that aspect. And then of course it goes into now the father is actually um waiting tables again. He's a bartender again. And you also see Marco, he's actually sober, he's cleaned up. They're a lot more less tamed. They're not fighting anymore
Yeah.
or anything. It seems like they're getting along a little bit. But I'm gonna let you talk more about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I time jumps are hard for me. Sometimes they're I feel like they're hard to pull off right correctly. I mean, because there's a lot of stuff that happen, a lot of character development that happens within that time jump that you don't get to see. Like I would have liked to have seen a conversation between Zach and Marco, like for them to come together. Like, I'm sorry I've been a crappy father to you. Like, I'm sorry I've been a crappy son. Like, let like resolve. I would have loved to have seen that instead of it just being like they're better now. And then same thing with the grandfather. I would have loved for, like, not to see Teresa die. I
No,
don't need to
of
see that
course.
part, but just him, like, coming to the realization, like, I've taken my wife for granted and now she's gone and now I'm going to go out and live my life in a better way. Is like I would have preferred to have seen that rather than just be like, and this is happening now, So I was disappointed with that time jump. And then with Zach, like, I know he didn't want to be a waiter and all that, but just that end scene, he looked so miserable. So I didn't know how to feel exactly when the movie ended. 'Cause he just looked pissed off, just sad, and I was just like, oh. And then it ended, and I was like, oh, okay. I
Well, here's the thing, and even Charlie. Here's the thing, Charlie. I was actually wondering about Vinny myself because they don't even mention Vinny, which is something that I really wish they would actually touch on because Vinny was the important thing of the family. If anyone was going to help with the foundation, it was going to be Vinny. If the grandmother passes away, I felt like that he was actually the heart and soul of the family as well. I think
mm-hmm.
that they would have actually he would have actually been the glue that put them together still. And but here's another thing though with the time jump. I like how Jamie made up with Zach. Now she's with the person that she wants to be with, and then of course Michelle and him are together now, and they made up, and it's 2 years later. They're all in their own happy places, like life is. Life is not what you think it's going to be.
Mm,
You think that you're going to be with this one person, and life winds up taking into another course. And that's exactly what this is. You're not rooting for these characters. You're rooting for the situation to get better. And the situation does, in fact, get better for them in a certain aspect of it because Marco's clean. He's working for his dad. You actually have Jamie who's happy, and also too, Zach's actually sacrificing his own happiness for her so she can be happy.
mm,
So you're having Zach who's sacrificing everything so that way she can have so that way Jamie can have her own happiness. And
yeah.
then even though Jamie may not like it, but she's also doing the same thing and compromising also too. Well, now he's happy with Michelle, so therefore that's the life that he has now. And it's the life
Mm.
as of separation between the two. Time has come, it healed. But as for the job with waiting tables and doing that again, I know that that was not the job he wants. He was miserable. I get that. But this is just me talking here. I think this is just him saying, you know what? This is what I'm going to do for a little bit until I can get back on my feet again. Everything and get those commercials like I want.
Yeah.
Charlie says, I had no idea that what actually happened at the end. Did Zach get the announcer job or what? That was really confusing and it was rushed. Wait, Zach ended up back with Michelle, who just amplified my confusion.
I was
Here's
wondering
the
that too.
thing,
I'm like, he got back with Michelle?
and you know why? I think that he did, and and then after that, I'll get to your point in a minute too. It's about who you're comfortable with and who you
Mm,
feel safe with and what you know. That's all he knows. He just knows Michelle because of the fact that he has the kids with Michelle. That was someone in his past life. He's too afraid to try something new because he's thinking maybe the life, basically, if he tries something new, that maybe he might ruin it. At least
mm,
with Michelle, he knows where he stands with her versus somebody new.
mm.
That's just what I'm thinking. It's like going through an abusive relationship.
Oh, I thought he didn't go back to her at all. Like I thought he was doing what Jamie was saying, like facing his fear of being alone. He was just being his own man essentially. He was like, "Well, I'm gonna work at this restaurant." Is he? I also felt like he was the owner of that restaurant because he was just kind of running the whole show and paying for their meals, paying for Jamie and her husband's meals and all that. So I was like, well, he's doing something with his life. And he's like working on being alone. That's what I thought happened at the end of the movie. But I have to talk about this one scene because it made me laugh, and it's not supposed to make me laugh, but it was like right when Marco and Jamie, they're both getting ready to leave the house, and they have like a brief little conversation, and Marco's just like, it's all your fault, you bitch. And then Jamie's like, well, I hope your music career goes well. And he's like, thank you. Hope everything's good for you. And then they just leave. And I was just like, wait, you just called you a bitch. And then you're just gonna be like, all right, well, have a good night, bro. Like, you too. And then
Sometimes it takes to be the bigger person, or either they're just being sarcastic.
I was like, I hope it was maybe it was her being sarcastic. Well, I don't think it was because it seemed like, God forbid.
Yep.
I don't think I just that sudden shift was funny to me. I was just like, man. She was like, I'm not doing this with you, Marco. Just I seriously, genuinely hope everything works out for you. And then he didn't know how to respond to non-conflict, so he's like, oh, thank you. See you
Right.
later.
Good day, then. Right.
Oh, you're not battling me today. Okay. Uh, There are a lot of aspects, if I can get into it,
Yeah, yeah.
talking about this movie that I liked. I wanted to like it a lot more. Just what kept me at a distance was the constant conflict between the family members. Like, I would have liked for it to have, just some breaks in between the tension. Like, cause like as soon as the movie starts, they're coming at you, like cussing each other out and all that, and it was a little too much for me. Like, I totally believe realistically in a dysfunctional family, like that's just how conversations happen. But in terms of like storytelling in a movie, it was just keeping me at a distance the whole time. Like, I wasn't able to really get to know the characters as people. Like, I only knew them as angry people. Like, I couldn't get to know them. They were like how they were doing to each other, like keeping each other at a distance, but hey, fuck off, get away from me. They were doing the same to me as a viewer, so I could never quite get to know them. And I wasn't really attached to anyone except Vinny, because Vinny was the most chill throughout the movie. So I was able to relate to him. I was like, okay, me and Vinny, that's my spirit animal right now.
I
Like,
am
we were
too.
able to connect, but I wanted to connect with Zach. I wanted to connect with Marco, but it was just the constant yelling and anger is just keeping me at bay. So I couldn't enjoy this as much as I wanted to.
I understand, man. I mean, here's the thing, though, too. I actually know families like this because I'm actually from Boston. So, of course, I know Italian families and stuff like that because that's what I'm surrounded by. So,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I can relate to it. But it's also about, too, like who you can actually be around and who you can to actually chill with versus your family members because I'm sure there's family members that you don't jive up with that you and everything. So therefore, if you're someone that in your family that's totally chill, you want to chill with the person that is just laid back. So that's what I got from that. Um, Dean says, "I do like
Hey.
your insight, guys. We should have had you over for the game as well. Thanks for diving deep. Blessings. Hey, save me a cannoli. Save me some raviolis. I'm there, dude. I'm there. So."
Yeah, as long as there's no hard feelings for the Raiders beating the Eagles this year, we can hang. Thank you so much for,
Thank you.
yeah, having us on.
Seriously, seriously, Dean, you guys did a great job with what you guys had and everything. Matter of fact, I would love to have you guys on the show sometime so we can all interview you. This movie to me is a movie that needs to be told in a sense because of the fact that you're dealing with a lot of emotions. You're dealing with grief. You're dealing with also too cheating, divorce. You're dealing with so much emotional stuff into one movie, and I believe that it showed throughout the whole entire movie with the characters on what they're dealing with, and I appreciate what they did with it.
Hmm.
And I can't say enough about how much I enjoy the performances, the direction from this, the dialogue flow, the characterization of the characters, which I think is very important when I'm watching a movie, is to have the characterization of the characters. I believe that was really good and well said. Seriously, you guys did a phenomenal job. I can't praise you guys enough for the job done, and thank you for allowing us to review this film and
Definitely.
taking the
Thank you so
time out
much.
of our night to be able to review it.
Thank you so much
Um,
for the opportunity. Thank you.
Definitely. And Dean says, anytime passion. Thanks again for the intelligent takes. We give it our all. We gave it our all, and it shows. It shows within
It
your work
shows.
itself.
Yes.
Seriously.
We also have some Raider trash talk in the comments.
Yeah.
If John, if you don't mind banning this Charlie guy
Yeah, I
from
don't
the
know
comments,
Charlie too much, so I think I'm gonna go in ahead and hit the ban
block
on it.
him. This
Yeah, we
guy,
don't need him.
that guy.
You know what? I'll even do that in our group chat though too later on.
Will be no
This is
Raider
just
trash
strictly
talk.
Patriots and Raiders talk tonight. This is not Fly Eagles Fly. I understand 41 to 33, but guess what? That was in the past, Charlie, and I do respect the Eagles. But they're not even in the playoffs today, this present day.
Okay.
So,
Now,
anyways, uh, Is there anything else that you wanted to say or anything like that, Alex, as far as this film
No,
goes?
no, other than go Raiders, but
You're right. Neither
sorry,
are the
I
Pats.
had the one last time, even though we're not in the playoffs anymore. I was just one last time.
It's okay. So, anyways, Alex, where can everybody follow you at? Because I know, matter of fact, you're actually our new co-host for Movie Lovers Unite. So, I know that you have other stuff that you actually do outside of our channel. So, hey, Charlie, let me just tell you something. Brady's playing one last time for one day as a Patriots fan, so he can play as a Patriot and retire as a Patriot. So, therefore, he's still a Patriot.
The
There you
football
go.
trash talk is still going on here. Welcome everyone to the last 10 minutes of the section where we just talk mess about our favorite football teams.
Right.
Charlie is going in on us in the comment section in the live chat. He should not be talking.
No. Okay. So where can everybody follow you at when we're not smack talking each other?
We're not smack talking. You guys, besides on Movie Lovers Unite, you guys can also find me at A-Town Reviews on YouTube, and you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. See what I'm up to. Chat me up sometime at A-Town Alex 3, and yeah, hit me up. Let's chat. Let's talk about movies, and I look forward to seeing you guys. And also follow me on follow us at Movie Lovers Unite.
Exactly. And guys, like Alex said, just go on and follow me underneath Movie Lovers, TV Lovers Unite on Facebook and as well on Pinterest and on Instagram as well. And if another thing too, I want to bring up too, if you guys want to, go on ahead and head over to Good Pods. Good Pods is basically social networking for podcasters to be able to interact with other people that listen to podcasts and things like that too. So if you guys want to, go on ahead, rate us over there, rate individual episodes and things like that. And also too, if you want to, go on ahead, if you're feeling generous, I understand the pandemic as putting holes in the people's pockets or whatever. But if you're feeling generous, go on ahead, go to GoFundMe.com/Movie Lovers Podcast, donate $5 to $10 over there. But guess what? Over here in Movie Lovers Tonight, you can actually do some other things aside from that. You can go on ahead, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, smash that share button, and smash that bell in the bottom right-hand corner to allow you guys to know when we have something new coming out. Then also too, go on ahead and follow me underneath Movie Lovers Unit on Twitter, and then underneath Movie Lovers Unit 0 on TikTok as well. And then of course, guys can go on ahead and rate us over at Apple Podcasts and on Spotify as well, because now there's actually a rating system over at Spotify, and that's us for new people to go ahead and discover us, so that way they can actually enjoy Movie Lovers Unite. And let's see, Dean says, "Thanks, gang. Go Birds, and we will have you over one day for lasagna and family." Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yes, yes, down for that.
Hey, no more crap talking for the Batman movie, okay, Charlie? I love that. That movie's gonna rock. I don't care what you say. That movie's gonna be great.
Charlie,
Anyways,
no, no, love Charlie to death.
I do too. Charlie's great. And we're both gonna be in trouble by the time we get back into the group chat. So let's see what happens. Always until next time, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. I can't wait to do this again. Thank you so much, everyone in the comments section. Thank you, Dean, for everything you've done for this movie. Thank you to the directors, writers, producers of this film. And always until next time, guys, have a great and safe night. And I'll see you back over here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, as I have the cameraman from Dexter coming on. And Charlie and I are going to be not smack talking against each other tomorrow night. We're actually going to be respectful. And we're going to interview Eric. We're going to go ahead and interview Eric Fletcher from Dexter, the SOC from Dexter. So, always until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. We appreciate everybody, and good night.